we got going on tonight?
Hey, Jake.
That's what you do.
Yep.
What the other day, and the whole thing.
He didn't want it to close, it was the best way of doing it, he thought, so.
God, he did.
Dave was gonna, I think he's gonna be done first of September maybe.
He said he's gonna-
And he was gonna retire, Chris,
Sounds like he's waiting till next summer.
next summer. The longer he's there, the better, cause he is. With you, Dave at Wilson Trailer, I can't think of his last name. Hannah, just he's been there forever.
School board.
Probably soft top.
Yeah, sits in his little office with no, just did another thing office, just one after the other. You walk in there, you're like,
Oh, is he super tall?
I think they're scrappy. Yeah.
no, how you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Okay, I think that's somebody else.
Yeah.
Guys are little tan colored.
Oh, yeah.
Dodge pickup.
Okay.
Lives in San Bernardino, Florida. But you go in there and ask him anything about a trailer, he's like, this is what it is. He doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
It's a diamond in the rough, I think.
I know.
Done a lot of stuff.
But I never understood the difference. When people have said like, you come back and watch a high school game, like it's like watching a game, right? They go in and play at the college level and then come back and like, oh my gosh, they look like turtles out there, like it's so slow.
Technology up and going.
Shouldn't be that hard.
Or was it a pumpkin?
First on, yeah. Working on like 8 years.
Every time something else happens though, if it's a stream key, it's whatever. But it always happens about 5 minutes before the meeting starts.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've been skipping the update this whole time because I'm afraid to screw it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost. I did a lot of Googling and YouTubing just to figure out how to do this. Alright.
5 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order, we'll start with roll call.
Paul here.
Erickson here.
Warner here. Erickson here.
Kim Kirk here.
And Keel here, and then Bruce is on his way, so. We'll stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll move right into our agenda here for, looks like, the strategic planning presentation from with Wade of Better Use Solutions. I'm kind of excited to hear this.
All right,
So you're welcome to come on up and
all right, we'll do that. Shoot this around here. Just want to take one of these, pass it around, I'll get ready. Make sure that that's pointing that way.
Gets you right on
sorry.
Oh, goodness. So, well, thanks for having me.
About that.
Went down
Disaster
and
here.
talk a little bit about strategic planning and better use solutions. Like I said, I'm Wade McKittrick. I'm a co-owner of Better Use Solutions. The other half is back here, is Cindy McKittrick. We're also husband and wife, so that works out pretty well. We travel well together. But I'll introduce myself. I'll let Cindy introduce herself. Education has been our background. As some of you might know me. I've been in education for 36 years. 16 years of it was as a superintendent, 9 of it in Wabasso, as a superintendent in Wabasso. Then I'm on a video, and we're currently we live in and operate our business out of Alexandria, so a little bit to the north now. But when we decided to to step away from the areas, me as a superintendent. Cindy, do you want to introduce yourself really quick?
I'm Cindy. I also have a background in education, have a teaching degree. I didn't do that a whole lot of years, but when we lived in Wabasco, I was executive director for a ministry in Marshall called Hope Harbor. And then I just retired from that when we moved to Alexandria, and so yeah. I do a lot of the admin work, kind of the back end work for Better Use Solutions, and then go out and do some trainings and things, so.
So I asked Cindy to be with us tonight too, because as we work through our strategic planning process, she is involved with that, especially on the stakeholder driven side. When we're doing focus groups and gathering information from the community, Cindy's part of that facilitation process. So I like people to be able to see faces and who we are and what we do. But as we decided to step back from the superintendency and the ED role at Hope Harbor and move up to Alexandria, we were looking at what was that next piece in life that we really wanted to engage in, and we felt one, we were too young to retire, but we found we had a lot of value still to bring in and add organizations and to people, and we spent a lot of time looking at how could we do that best. And in the end, where we kept coming back to is I've spent a career helping people solve problems. And that's really where we have placed our focus on this business venture is helping people move from uncertainty to clarity so they get the results that they want. And we do that in a number of ways. One of the primary ways is strategic planning. We do superintendent searches, we do executive coaching, and a lot of leadership training. So the process that we use in all of those services comes back to the exact same thing. It works through the Better You discovery process. And you see that listed out on the front page of that strategic planning guide. We help people, whenever people are entering into trying to figure out a solution, they're starting in uncertainty, aren't they? They know something needs to happen, we want to get a direction, but just not positive how to get there. It doesn't mean confused or dumb in any way, right? We've all just been uncertain on how to get to someplace. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to be able to help people who are in uncertainty gain clarity on what they want to accomplish. We wanted to help them discover the possibilities of how to get there so that they could lead with purpose. And then once they have the clarity of purpose, then they can lead with confidence and get them the results they want. Everything we do is centered around that process, right? So when we look at strategic planning, we look at those 5 basic areas on the bottom. Why do schools or businesses want to have a strategic plan? Why is it important? It's in my world, it's critically important. Going all the way back to the early 1990s, geez, did I just say that out loud?
He's old too.
How many people were born in the 1990s? No. I knew you were gonna raise your hand. But back in the mid-90s, I was an activities director and assistant principal over in Albert Lea, Minnesota. And we were a large district, and there was just this dissension within the activities program itself. And I couldn't really put my finger on it. Why is the community so much in an uproar? But it's only this segment. But it's this segment sometimes, but then it's this segment other times. And why are our coaches feeling like the programs are treated unevenly? And it really came back to we really don't have a clear definition of what we're trying to accomplish. And without a clear definition of what we're trying to accomplish, how are we ever supposed to accomplish it? Because everybody had their opinion. Over here, this group was saying it's all wins and losses. If we're not winning, the program's terrible. Over here it was, hey, if the kids aren't having fun, this thing ain't worth doing. And then there are people in the middle. So I didn't really know what I was doing at the moment, but I knew we had to do something. I was really in that uncertainty factor. So we've gotta do something to gain clarity on what our program is. So I got a hold of a friend who had done a little bit of strategic planning, and we muddled our way through this thing this first time of bringing in together about 100 community members and just saying, what do you want? This is your school, these are your programs. What is it that you want? What is success in this activities program? And we spent a few nights together just working through what is success. What do you want from the programs? And we crystallized what that vision was. And the amazing thing that came out of it was it wasn't about winning and losing. And it wasn't all about everybody should feel perfectly great about everything that ever goes on. There was a lot of the middle ground, but that definition then, that allowed us to build out our programming with those expectations in mind. When we evaluated our programs, evaluated our staff, when we made financial decisions, everything lined up to that. And as a young administrator, I thought after we were done, I really stumbled onto something here. This was pretty good. This was pretty smart. And it was also amazing how it brought people together. Because now how we operated our programs wasn't just based on the AD's opinion, the principals, the superintendent, or a coach. It was about we needed to be a fit for this program. And when we hired people with, this is our program, are you a fit for it? Can you lead it and get these results? And that was just the beginning of my intrigue into strategic planning. I had an opportunity to work with the Malcolm Baldridge process. We're down with Ken Blanchard, Ken Blanchard, I'm in the totally wrong Kens. Down in Pinellas County, Florida with a Malcolm Baldridge school district that had won the award. And it was all about systems and all about developing outcomes and getting community buy-in, community support, and finding out what people wanted, and then setting up indicators of success along the way to really measure and benchmark out and make sure that you're on track and not guess where you're going and not guessing if you're doing well. That was really career changing. And so over the last 30 years, I've been putting that work into practice in organizations and in school districts. So that our strategic planning process does just that. What I like to ask schools, when it comes time to look at how are you operating, you may be light years ahead of everybody else. You might be where a lot of people, other districts are. But are you crystal clear on what you're trying to accomplish? And is that in line with what the community direction is? My last superintendent role, full-time superintendent role, was in Montevideo. And we were not aligned. When I walked in the door and I started talking to our community, I was hearing this. And I walked into the school and started talking to staff and the board, and we were here. And we were missing each other along the way. And that was not set up for success. So we backed off and said, hey, before we make any major decisions, we're gonna go back in, we're gonna put a strategic plan together. We're gonna utilize the discovery process. We brought in about 175 people over the course of a few months, and we just sat down and asked them 7 questions. We wanted to find out what our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities for success were. We wanted to find out what their desires were for the district, what their expectations were for us, so that we could have clarity on what that envisioned future looked like so we could create plans to get there. What we discovered is we had very little data to tell us if we were doing a good job based on what our community expectations were. So we immediately went to work then and created that data profile so that we could find out, are we doing what needs to be done? And that's, as you flip over on the other side, those are the steps that we walked through. So we gained clarity by agreeing on the process, in the 4 phases of the work we do. We accomplish the 6 steps through these 4 phases. But that discovering possibilities, that's when we're pulling together what the expectations are that our community has for us. Because after all, it's their school, right? It's not your school, it's not the teacher's school, it's not the superintendent's school. You're representatives of your community. And the superintendent, administration, teachers are simply servants to the community. That's what we're in public service. And it's our job to deliver on the expectations that the community has. And that's how that support happens. So as we go through and do that, we pull the people in and we gather the district data. We bring the people in, we begin asking the 7 questions. We find out what those expectations are, what their perceptions of our strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities are, versus what maybe ours. Are they the same? Sometimes districts are spot on. And internally, we believe this is where we're strong, and this is where we're weak, and the external public thinks the same thing. But like in the case of Montevideo, it was totally different. And no wonder we could never get anybody to support them, initiatives. They were frustrated with what the school was doing. And the school was frustrated with the fact that nobody was supporting it, and there was just this big mess. So we went back and asked, right? And that's what we want to do, is we want to be able to facilitate those stakeholder focus groups. We do them in small groups so they're really safe conversations. They're great to have. Literally around a table like this, we sit down with 8 to 12 people and we ask questions. And we chart down their responses. We just write them down. Next group comes in, we do the same thing. Next group they come in, we do the same thing. And then we take all that information, we drop it into a vat, shake it around, and look for all the commonalities. What are the common perceptions, desires that your community has that surface in all of these groups? Because where the commonalities are where the expectations are. The loud voice sometimes gets the most attention, but it doesn't mean that it's the community expectation. When you grab a lot of people in small groups and have these conversations, those expectations really become clear in a hurry. And once you do that, then you've got your perceptual data and your directions from your community. Then you're able to take that information and you're able to work with an internal group, your superintendent and a leadership team that you would determine. And we start taking that information and we look at it from the standpoint of, all right, this is what our community wants. So here's the school that they envision. Here are the results that they desire. Now our job is to look at what's the tension between our reality, what we're currently doing, what results we're currently getting, versus what the expectations are. That gap in between, that's the tension. And how do we bridge that tension so that what we're producing is what the expectations are? And at least you're not gonna get there, we're never there in a year, right? But it is about making progress towards it, and then being able to communicate to your public, hey, this is what you said you wanted us to do. Here's what we've done. Here are the results that we've got, so that people are able to see that stair step. Does that make sense? A few things happen when you go through that and you develop that process. Good. We work with that team. We develop out the priorities. We develop out the goals. We relook at your vision, your mission, and your values, and ensure that everything is in alignment. Painting that envisioned future is really kind of a fun process for school boards, because it's being able to take a look at 10 years from now, what are we going to be? And start painting that picture so that becomes a crystal clear target. And that's sometimes a really hard process for people to go through, but we kind of push back pretty hard to get to there. So once you've created those components with that team, that information goes back and forth with the school board. You're able to see the updates. I always suggest a couple school board members are part of that working group team. And we get it to the point where we're down into the how-tos, the strategies, At that point, then we want the educational team to be working on that. All right, here are the priorities that we're gonna be working in. Here are the goals that we have for each one of them. Now, how are we gonna get this accomplished? Now, what's the work look like? And that's where we want the educational team working on the how-tos. The community members can do a great job of helping to set expectations and goals, but not so great on the how-tos. So that gets the boots into action. And then from that point, we take that 5-year plan and we pull out into the 1-year plan of what are the priorities right now? What needs to happen in the next 12 months in order to make the progress that you need to be moving in the right direction towards the 12. All right? So back on that front page, why strategic planning matters. All that process does this. It creates the clear direction. Everybody's speaking the same speak. So it doesn't matter which board member or community member is talking to, it doesn't matter which staff, there's a clear direction, you're able to articulate it. Because we make sure that it's clear, succinct, to the point, and accurate. You've got the shared ownership because you didn't create this plan in a vacuum in the library. You brought in your community. You brought in your representatives from your business community, your parents, your folks that don't have kids in school at all, that are community members. You're bringing in students and staff. All of you are putting information into this plan so that once it's done, it's not your plan, it's everybody's plan. How many of you have been through a strategic planning process before? How many of you seen a folder get created that went into a binder, that went onto a shelf that never got utilized? Yeah, I saw parts of that, so.
Seems like the first year they probably didn't try to keep with it, and after that first year, it just kind of, especially our district here, because we with the building, and because we did it right before we started. Was it in 20 was my first year, and so a lot of things have changed.
Yeah. My belief on strategic planning is so strong that when you're looking at the shared ownership, you're looking at the data-informed decisions, the accountability and the student results. That plan really should drive what your superintendent's goals are. This is your accountability for your superintendent, that, he's not gonna do it all, but he's gonna make sure it gets done. And this is the focus. When it comes to dollar allocations, there's a lot of great things going on. I think there's people around that would think, investing $50,000 into volleyball, equipment and skill development would be a great thing.
Those are our volleyball. Well, looks like you guys don't even need to talk tonight.
We might know each other. But the reality is that in the strategic plan, that has nothing to do with the strategic plan. So it might be a great idea or a great thought, but it doesn't fit the plan. When it comes to staff development, professional development, where should you be investing your professional development? Should be directed exactly towards your strategic plan. There are a lot of great things that people can do and go and ask to go to for development. It's not saying that they aren't great opportunities, but if it's not helping to achieve the outcomes that you're looking at accomplishing, you shouldn't be spending money there. Because we're focused on this. That's what the planning does, if you're utilizing it. Is it creates that tightness of your resources, of your human resources when it comes time to make decisions on staffing. Nobody loves that, right? If you're ever in financial constraints, nobody loves that, right? You've done that. Nobody loves that, but when you have a clear plan in place, it identifies it for you. It identifies your negotiables and your non-negotiables. And it takes out the personalities and the emotion around it. It simply allows you to make decisions based on data and direction.
It gives you a path to follow instead of stepping stones all over, I think. So.
It does. And I mentioned one of the services that that we do is we do superintendent searches. And as we go in to help school boards do a superintendent search, one of the very early on questions I ask is, what's your strategic plan look like? What are your priorities? And it's surprising how many times the answer is, well, we're gonna hire a superintendent to help us identify that. And I'll just be, okay, this is my opinion, that is so wrong. Because you don't hire the leader to set the direction. You hire the leader to execute the direction that the school has. And the same thing goes with our teachers, when we're hiring teachers, they need to, in all fairness, they need to be able to see what's the direction of this district. Where are you going? What are your focuses? Am I a fit? Because if I'm not a fit, I'm gonna be miserable, you're gonna be miserable, we're all gonna be miserable together, we're gonna have a miserable party. But when you're clear on what you're wanting to accomplish, you begin to attract the people that you want to attract. And you start to repel the people that you want to repel. So that's the strategic planning process according to Better Use Solutions.
So I wanna let everyone know the little bit that I've gotten to know Wade, the reason I invited him here tonight, because I've learned one thing, he's a very genuine person and he's passionate about this. I have to just get on the soapbox about strategic planning, because I've been in the situation, my first superintendency, quite a while back in North Dakota, there was no strategic planning. I came in on the tail end of a bad situation in the district, and I was flying by the seat of our pants, everyone. And especially as a new superintendent, it was hard to, I knew what direction I felt we should be in, but that didn't necessarily equate to everybody else's perception of that. So I did go through a strategic planning process, and it was our school boards, North Dakota School Boards Association, boilerplate, strategic plan kind of thing. You can mark off, I did this, put on the shelf. Because we met all of the criteria in less than a year. Because it wasn't designed for us. It was designed for what they felt a school district should. The one thing and speaking with Wade and looking at the website about strategic planning, the one thing Better You does is it creates a unique strategic plan that fits our culture and our climate. I also believe we're servants. You know, if it wasn't for our community, we wouldn't be here. It's their building, they're the ones, including you, that's putting the money into this. So I believe it's only fair that we let them have some type of ownership in what we do here. And I've learned through doing a process like that and really holding true to that strategic plan, that things come out of the woodwork you never thought were there, the perceptions that weren't there, or what they really want, or the alignment with some of the things we want. And I always say your superintendent shouldn't lead that process, because when you get done, I can tell you, a lot of our staff will say, oh, it's just another thing he wants us to do. Whereas when we come together and we do it with stakeholders, to include teachers, admin, school board, community members, students, then we bring it together as a community, as a family. And then we can say, this is the plan we created. And you know, even going through that process, a lot of times visions, missions, and guiding values change. You know, what was our mission and vision back here may not be the same thing. Times change. Technology is exponential on a weekly basis. Things change so rapidly, we have to stay ahead of it. But having everybody's voice in that provides ownership and builds a lot of pride in what we do. And then I can show the board, here's the progress we're making. Here's what we're doing, here's what the plan is, and here's where we're looking at in a couple of years down the road. So I think having that type of strategic plan that's built specifically for us, our culture, our community values, is imperative to success. And this is a successful district, but I think no matter where we've gone, we can always go higher and better in whatever we do.
So when we complete a process on under the 4 phases of work, you see that every strategic planning engagement includes. So implementation of the discovery process, the stakeholder engagement, the database current reality is created, the vision, mission, and values. Again, mission, vision, and values. If they're words on a wall, they're really meaningless. But if they drive your actions, they're powerful. You know, they absolutely change what you do. So So we take a look at what you currently are utilizing, and we assess it against, does this fall in line with what your real beliefs are? And what does it look like and feel like in action? We identify those priorities, the goals, the strategies, the indicators of success, which come back to one of the most important parts of the whole plan, is if you haven't identified your indicators of success, what are you measuring against?
Mhm.
You know, if we don't have that clarity, so we take those indicators of success then and create a district dashboard. And I think this is powerful, because when you have your dashboard, this is what we said we're gonna do. Here are those indicators of success that measure whether we're getting to our movement towards that. We're able to put that out then to the public for them to be able to take a look at it. Whether the results are good, bad, or indifferent, they should be out in front of people. Because what I've discovered, and hopefully you've seen the same thing, is if you're underperforming in an area, the public can accept that for a short term, as long as you have a plan to change it. If you're underperforming and you have no plan to change it, and aren't even confident that you're underperforming because you haven't been measuring to figure out if we are underperforming or overperforming, we don't communicate that. But the dashboard helps us create a communication tool then that you're able to communicate with your public on. This is what you said you wanted us to do. This is what we did. Here are the results we've gotten. Now you see that progress. And people can say, all right, we wanted this. An example, when I said our community and school were on a different plateau in Montevideo, they offered about 3 college credits in their district. You know, it's a district of 1,400 kids. 3 college credits in their building. And the community was saying, hey, we want to see that college-bound, that courses in our school. But we're not seeing it, so our kids are going out the door and taking PSEO courses, and it's having a negative impact on our funding, our staffing, our class sizes. How do we get change? This has got to change. In 2 years, our kids average 15 college credits per graduate. And it was nothing that any one person was this superstar thinker that put this all together. It was, we were able to look at it and say, this is what our community expects. This is in the best interest of the kids. This is where we need to allocate our resources, and then we'll make it happen. And it took 2 years to make it happen.
It sounds like finding that focus made it a natural change or natural motivation for that, it sounds like.
It does. So every plan ends with those components, you know, in with them. So timeline wise, you know, strategic plan in our process, it takes about 4 months, depending upon the district availability, because we do utilize, for example, in setting up those focus groups, we have found it very, very successful to involve kids. That the board helps create the big list of who do we want involved, you know, who do we want to invite to the table. And we just create opportunities for the kids to make phone calls and invite people to be part of them. They have a schedule in front of them. For one, the community loves to hear from kids. Number 2, can you ever tell a kid no? When they come to your door and say, hey, I'm selling Raisin Bran bars again, because you're allergic to raisins, but you buy one every year, is evidence that kids, you can't say no to kids. No, we have the kids help make the phone calls, so that, you know, the community's hearing from them and know that they're part of this. And they actually, the students have their own focus groups, you know, in the process as well. So, you know, part of that timeline just becomes, you know, when are the district staff available? You know, that drives, we can be here, but if nobody else can, it doesn't really matter. So, you know, there's been times where it's taken 6 months, there's been times where it's taken 3 months. It all depends on availability. But generally, it's about 4 months from start to adoption.
how would you envision that work in our district for, you're familiar with our layout, I guess, for our size and
Yeah.
would that be all central here or would we do like a couple remote?
No, they're all in person.
Okay, I meant like in other communities, like in person, but
Oh, yeah.
that's what I meant.
Yeah, we can set up, you know, if you want, you know, some of those planning meetings to happen in a different community, we can do that. We just, we take the show to them. We've done that before. You know, we've done it with districts where it just came in. When we were over doing Murray County Central's strategic plan, it was one of the post comments from some of the participants were, can you, because the superintendent's not involved in those conversations, right? No staff member is involved. It's Cindy and it's me. And you know, we talk, we script, we write. But at the end, one of the comments that we were getting was, this was great. I don't think I've ever had conversations about our school like this. Could you encourage our superintendent or give them permission to be able to do this every couple of years with just themselves? Just invite people in and, how are we doing? Let's have the face-to-face conversation. And I know for a while they did that. I don't know that they do it anymore, but you know, those are some of the things you learn from your community as well in that process. But yeah, if it were, whenever I did things like this over in Wabasso, I always made sure that we held something in each one of the communities because there's that sense of pride. And it was important for everybody to feel their community side was involved in the process. So, you know, we can set things up that way. On the other hand, sometimes it's good to be able to get people into the building that might not have been here before or haven't been here in a long time. So it gives you, there's two sides to that.
In that process, how specific is the subject matter you're talking, and do you have kind of a generic list of that, or do we help develop that?
On the
Or-
questions?
Yeah.
No, our questions are very specific.
Okay.
Yep, they're the same, I've used the same questions for a long time. And I didn't develop them. I've tweaked a little bit, but they came out of a Malcolm Baldridge process, a study that was called Charting Your Course. And it doesn't matter if it was metropolitan or rural, these questions seem to fit because it's about, you know, what are the strengths? Sometimes they're not rocket science. What do you see as the strengths of our district? You know, what do you see as the opportunities for improvement with our district? You know, we come in with those type of questions. You know, over the next 5 years, what do you feel would be the most important thing to allocate resources for? And let's just find out, you know, how do you determine your opinion on the school, whether the school district is doing a good job? You wanna know what to measure? Ask that question. Because if they're telling you how they're judging, everybody's judging you. Everybody's forming their opinion. It's just a matter if the data that they're using is accurate or not. And the only way you can make sure it's accurate is to know what they wanna know, how they wanna be communicated with, and then get them the information. In one district, I thought, you know, you put things on the website and you email people out, they're getting the information, right? One district I served, 70% of the people said they wanted it in the newspaper and in a printed newsletter, mailed out to them. That's how they wanted to get their information. I did a really quick pivot and we started doing an annual newsletter that gave the data, you know, to our community. Because it's what they said. We'd have never known that if we hadn't asked.
Right.
We thought we were doing a great job of communicating, I actually stunk it, you know? So,
How do you charge for doing services?
yeah, our fee is a flat fee, you know, we charge $11,200 for front to back strategic planning process, there's no additions onto it. So, you know, we don't do mileage or expenses or anything like that, it's just a flat fee.
It
So-
doesn't matter how long it takes,
Yep, we're paying for the results.
okay.
We will spend, whether it's over 6 months or 3 months, we will spend the same amount of time. It's just, I mean, we'll come in, typically with the stakeholder groups. We'll come in one day and we'll start at 8 o'clock in the morning, because there's generally a senior citizen group that wants to have coffee and come in and do it in the morning. And then we get in with the students during the day, have some more community groups in the late morning, at noon. We get in with the staff after school. We go until 8 o'clock that night. For 90 minutes, we meet with people, take a 15-minute break, 90 minutes, people are here, 15-minute break, 90 minutes, and we go until we've exhausted the groups.
Yeah, the
So-
first time we did it, I was like, can we at least schedule a little bit of time to eat? So we do, we go from morning to night, like 2 days.
I get excited I love listening to people, I love engaging people on this stuff. That's kind of my food. She said, can we eat? What do you mean? It is 7:30 at night. I'm sorry, we've been at this since 7:30 this morning. But we'll come in and we'll spend a lot of time in your district, and it might be, one evening we're coming in starting at 4 o'clock. We'll meet people until 9, and we'll stay overnight in the area. We'll come back the next morning, 8 o'clock, we'll kick off, we'll go 12 hours, away you go. And then we'll come back a few days later, repeat the process until we've got enough people involved. So,
That'd be locations, I guess, I'm just picturing kind of where people would be and be willing to meet you at too, so.
yeah, I don't know, since this building opened up, if you feel like people have been into every area of it and really seen it, that could be strategically done to make sure that we're engaging people in the building and giving people a chance to walk through different areas as they get to that location where we're meeting and be able to see things firsthand as well.
Well, also, I think that having a combined consensus with all of our communities at one time, having those discussions together. I mean, I know, when towns give up their school buildings, there's that little bit of animosity that never goes away. But bringing them together and finding out collectively what you want. I
Yeah,
think that's
agreed.
important.
I think so too.
So we're flexible with fixing it, like Tim said, the discovery process, for us, that's the non-negotiable. Here's the process we use. All the details in between, that's customized up to what fits the district, because every district's a little bit different. And, you wanna be able to give the public where you're at, so that we make sure we get an accurate picture. And make things work well, so that when the process is done, one, people feel good that they were involved. Secondly, they trust the direction because it's their input. There's nothing better. There's nothing better, when it comes to direction, to be able to say, community member A, this is what you told us you wanted us to do, and we delivered.
Have
Here
you
it is.
found in your experience that community members are willing and want to do this? Okay.
Yeah.
It's usually not a problem getting a large group or a large sample.
People want their voice heard.
The last couple of strategic plannings I did was different from School Boards Association. We brought in a consultant to do it. And I think the first time when I said it was kind of like, boilerplate thing was School Boards Association North Dakota and had board members running the different sessions at one time. Well, when we come out of that, we get what the school board member thought they heard. So they're writing down notes and this is what my perception of what I heard. So it's basically the school board member's
Perspective.
Yeah. Whereas if you bring somebody in as non-partial, doesn't know our community members, doesn't really know the background of the school, at least, to an extent, then I think people are more open. We get a broader picture of what they really want. When we did it in my last district, we had a consultant come in. I had to finally tell people we have enough. We had 29, and we met several times. It took us about 4 months. We had 29 to include students, business leaders, everybody got involved, and I finally said, we don't even have the room in our media center anymore for more people.
That's good.
Yep, so people do, we give plenty of opportunities, time-wise, day-wise, so that people have their choice of what works for them. And keeping it to 90 minutes is important. If people are willing to give 90 minutes of their time, they're not always willing to give 3 hours. But 90 minutes, people can see that, okay, I can come in, I can give my 2 bits, and then I'll go home.
Your experience, you've been able to, I mean, when we explain the expense and all that, I mean, that's easy to, how do you explain that? I mean, it just, on your side, with your experience of strategic planning, I guess, there's a return on it, but
Yeah,
you
I
gotta
mean, it's.
share that with the public as well, that make them make sense, okay.
Yeah, from, how many of you are business people? You know, and you look at things through the lens of return on investment. That you don't spend money unless there's a return on investment. And that's what this process is. You know, we spend money on a lot of, okay, this is the educator in me coming out, right? As an education, we can spend money on a lot of stupid things. That go into a corner, gather some dust, and never get used. Or was a good idea, or we thought it was a good idea, but then when we actually got it, it wasn't such a good idea, and we just spent $6,000 on it. I bought a $17,000 laser engraver one time because it fit with the plan we were doing, but we didn't have the personnel in place to make it really work well. And it was moderately successful when it should have been wildly successful. You know, that wasn't a good return on investment. And I feel like this, when you can walk away and you can explain, if somebody were to say, why are you paying him $11,000 to come down and talk to us? Because we want to hear your voice. We want to understand what your expectations are so we know what we need to deliver on. Once we have clarity on what you as our community want, you will see, because we will be communicating it out. This is what you said you want. This is how we're going to accomplish it. Here's the action plans we're putting in place to do it. And by the way, we'll report our results. And this plan is going to be our map to get there. Because without the map, we're not going to accomplish a whole lot. You know, that's not kind of random and unintentional.
And I do think, I feel the board agrees, we need to focus on a strategic plan.
Yeah.
We've gotta have a guide. Came through kind of a rough time, we're trying to dig our way out of that. I think we're becoming successful at that. We have some prospectus in the future to flip that narrative. But again, I'll say it's hard for a leader to lead a district without the plan, without the foundation of the plan. Like, I used to call myself the fireman, especially when I was the principal in a big district. I was the fireman because I spent my day putting out fires. We shouldn't have to put out fires, we should be leading from within. And it's much easier to do that when you have that focus with your mission, vision, and your guiding values and your different goals and objectives in that strategic plan.
Your internal stakeholders, you know, that's a different conversation. Your external, it's return on investment. Your internal, I think the conversation is very easy to rationalize, to be able to say, have you ever felt like it's one thing after another? Each year there's a new initiative. Last year we were doing this, now we're doing this, now we're doing this. The mark is always moving, and all equals more work for me. Ever felt that? I've been guilty of doing that. So, you know, that in itself, from an internal standpoint, is a quality strategic plan provides that direction, and you have to have the discipline to stay the course. That this is what we're doing, this is our focus. Each year we're evaluating the plan, and that you're gonna make modifications as we go over the years. But this is the plan we're moving down. We are going to be rock stars in reading. We're going to be rock stars in math. We are going to be regionally competitive in our activities. Whatever those priorities, we are going to be financially responsible to the point of always ensuring that we have a 40% fund balance. Whatever those marks are, it's really easy to be able to go back to your internal stakeholders and say, hey, we said our focus is gonna be on reading, and we are putting the systems and the investments here. This is where it's gonna be. And we're not gonna be putting another new initiative and another new initiative and another new initiative. This is our plan. We're sticking to it. And what you can also find is once you get really clear on what you want to accomplish, you can also peel things away that you're currently doing that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You can identify them, so.
Yeah. And this doesn't stay 100% accurate, but I was raised on the model that every time you add a new initiative, you should pull 3 away. Because in order to have the time to actually be able to do the initiative well, you need to have the time, and that's by eliminating 3 things that you're currently doing that aren't really good practices in the first place.
So what's your schedule? I mean, what are you looking like for, if we go ahead and approve all this to go with you? I mean, what's your time frame? Any time or?
Yeah, we're pretty picky on time,
Okay.
because when we commit to you, we want you to have our time.
Yeah.
And I want you to know that we're not out doing 10 strategic plans. We'll work with two districts at a time. We won't go beyond that
Okay.
in strategic planning, because in order to have the amount of time where you get in and engage people and turn around the synthesis of the data, it just takes time. So once we leave here, I spend an inordinate amount of time, in the office. My walls become Red Rock Central walls, where the sticky paper is all over the wall. I literally have new wallpaper, right? And my home office becomes my clients until we're done with the plan. So the quicker I can do that, the less paint I rip off the wall, which is a good thing. So, but yeah, could we start a plan in the fall? We could. We're gonna hear back on another strategic planning proposal, which would be the second. I'm pretty certain we'll be doing that. But then we would put a freeze on working with any districts in that vein. So.
I know I'm not sure, some board members in the there's a farming community too, so when the fall's coming up, we gotta figure around that as well. So.
You gotta know when you can get people in.
Well, I'll have it on the agenda for August 19th meeting. The board can make a decision. I think one thing I wanna do is start another round. I have an idea about how we do community forums this fall. Hit all communities, and I think then we do a big community forum here in the theater. And then we can include the details on that, and if the board approves. So we can give our community heads up, and at some of those community forums, we did have people that had questions, concerns. It'd be a great time for them to get involved as well.
It's a great opportunity, Tim, to be able to announce to the public, because you want to do a press release or a communication before you get into the process, so people know this is going on and that you're inviting them to be part of the process, and actually putting it out there to a point where, if you'd like to be part of a focus group, call the office, get your name on the list, we'll call you and make sure you're involved. So if somebody wants to be involved, they'll be involved. If they're not sure, they're gonna get a phone call. So,
Do you make those, do you make those calls or do?
These are the kids.
The kids?
no,
do- the
we
kids
actually
will-
have the kids do that.
Yep.
Yep. We write the script
Okay, and then the kids will.
and we provide the times and everything around there, but we have the kids actually make the phone calls.
So, once you go through one of these processes, how often you have to revisit it, or how often do you recommend revisiting it?
You should be revisiting it annually, not going through the whole process again, but when you're looking at, okay, in this 1 year, here from our 5-year plan, here were our strategies that we implemented, and here were the targets that we're aiming for. We're pulling back in the data now, and you're looking, did this make a difference? Did it push us forward? Because strategies are fallible. If we thought it was a good idea from a strategy standpoint, it didn't get us towards the results, don't repeat it. Don't keep doing it. create a new strategy. You know, don't do it slower and louder. But alter it, either tweak it or fix it. So every year, we need to be looking at the data. But the plan itself, it should be a solid direction for 5 years. Does that answer the question?
I think we're due, cause, yeah, cause it was my first year, if you remember Nate too, we were in the old building, this was still kind of, this building wasn't even really a reality yet, so there's been a lot of changes, so.
I think it majorly went by the wayside too with the building project,
Yeah.
because I've been on for 4 years and never have really related anything to our strategic plan, ever.
And one thing I know about Tim from his mindset is when you have a strategic plan in place, not to put you on the spot, Tim, but I'm pretty confident. in
I'm
this,
always put on the spot here.
Is that every board meeting, you would be getting a strategic planning update. Once it's in place, here's what we're doing, here are the results we're getting.
Yep.
That's really what you wanna know.
And I make that public as well.
So, you know, becomes the communication focus then, of making sure that
And
that's
our
all there.
indicators, we have to have some way to assess and evaluate our strategic plans, so that's part of it.
So I've probably taken more time than you intended. Any other questions?
You get any pushback in the community about the cost on it?
I've actually, in the last plan, I was told I'm a cheap value. And
Is the one that said that?
But true, right, based on the amount of time and the product that we put forward. You know, if somebody were simply out there to make money, you'd be a lot more than that. We like to make money, don't get me wrong, but our heart has been in helping people get better, hence the name Better You. So we feel like when people see the process and they see the amount of time that we put in, that the response will be, sheesh, they did that for that?
Well, I sure appreciate your time, great information,
Awesome.
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for having us again. We'll get out of your way so you can continue on. You got a lot of business to do. One thing I was looking out over here, so a bit orient me. Football field,
Mm-hmm,
and that's always been the football field.
yep,
So our kids graduated from Marshall. And in 2000, I don't know what it was, 2010 maybe, 2009, 2010, 2011. Wyndham, when the floods came and Wyndham got flooded out, remember that year the whole town kind of wiped out?
Yeah.
The football field had about 7 inches of water on it. Marshall played Wyndham.
right out here,
We watched our son play football.
huh,
You
that's
know,
cool.
brings back a little memory. So, all right, well, thank you all.
Thanks,
Have a
Wayne.
good day.
Nice seeing you guys.
Move into our old business. Let's bring in the junior high volleyball coach, I guess. The question, I don't
Well, I
know.
asked Paige and Abby to come tonight to explain the need for another junior high volleyball coach. And I have to say, one of the reasons we got to this point, I think, is because there's been some miscommunication. I'm trying to find the right words for it. I don't know that needs were met or heard the way they should have been. So I think this is a good opportunity for them to speak their point, the board to make some decisions based on that. I know we have high numbers in junior high right now. If I were coaching junior high girls volleyball, I've coached girls volleyball. I wouldn't be doing it this year with those numbers without some support. So I think it's very important to know. Also with the Thriving program, and trying to build it, I think that extra help I think it's without exception, but I'll let these guys take over.
Hi, I'm Paige Lingle, I'm the new head volleyball coach here at Red Rock. You guys obviously
Abby.
know Abby, she's my coach. I think we are in dire need of having a second junior high coach. Right now, I'm pushing 27, pushing 30 for 9th through 12th grade. And then there's 20 kids, 7th and 8th graders.
How many again, 20?
27th and 8th grade.
Okay.
And then right now we have 27 for 9 through 12. There are a couple parents, I mean, I'm kind of blind leading the blind. I haven't been able to get everyone's contact information, has not been provided to me. So there are some parents that I have reached out asking, is your child coming out and playing volleyball? Like they were on the roster. I've got no response. So we could easily be pushing that 30 or over that 30. I won't know until hopefully August 10th, but maybe not until August 17th when season actually starts.
And some girls have come to summer things that were not on the list
Yes.
in spring when we had met with the girls, so it's kind of give or take, you know, kind of depends on, or, you know, 7th and 8th graders, you know, oh, my friend's going out, okay, now there's 4 more that decide to come out, you know, so it's just kind of a rough estimate of what it is.
Yes, and I also have for sure one kid, they stopped playing volleyball at 9th grade and she's gonna be a senior and she's coming out because it's just a whole new coaching staff. So we might have kids that do that too, where they're just like, it's a fresh start, let's give it a try again, kind of thing.
So your guys' evaluations are on August 10th, did you say?
Well, the parent coach meeting is August 10th.
Oh, yes, okay.
And then practice season starts August 17th, so we'll do like evaluations,
Mhm.
placements, and that will be 17th, 18th, and hopefully they'll know by the 19th or for sure by the 20th.
Okay. And the 20 does not include 6th graders coming up.
No, I do
That's
not want to
7th
vote
and 8th
6th grade
graders.
at all.
Okay.
There is not a need, and
Right.
There's
in the
not-
future, if there were, I think we could probably reevaluate, you know, like that kind of thing, but as
Yeah,
of now, there's.
Yeah.
I think it would be good for the board in the future to look at setting policy for how we do that.
I agree.
I don't mind, 2 things when I look at pulling up. Number one, well, 3 things actually. Is there a need to pull up into a higher level? And number 2, how's that gonna affect the level they're in? If it's a great player in 6th grade, or if it's a great player in 7th and 8th grade, pulling them up, what's gonna happen to that 7th and 8th grade program?
Mhm.
And then, is that player mature enough to handle that change? Because that's a big change for some of them.
Especially in that age group.
And when we bring up, you know, we do look at bringing 6th grade up, I feel they should be all entitled to come up, because they, you know, they might not get the play time, they'll get the practice time, and not have that disadvantage the following year.
Yeah, you can't just cherry pick the kids you want out of the 6th
Yeah,
grade.
so they all get this equal opportunity to improve.
And I will say, as the new head coach, I strongly can say that you will not be disappointed if we hire a second junior high. Like, I know everyone loves the word JO, but as the head coach, like I plan on rebuilding the JO program to where we're gonna offer JO to the younger level, possibly 3rd grade, but for sure 4th, 5th, and 6th, to hopefully build the program back up to where we never ever have to look at the 6th grade girls and be like, can you handle it?
Yeah.
No, like that's, and if I fail, then I failed as the head coach. I failed at not making more girls interested, wanting to learn the game, wanting to fall in love with the game, like that's on me then.
I will have to say my favorite thing about girls volleyball is the popcorn. And I'm being sincere about that, it's the best popcorn.
Another
So
thing
how
that you,
those-
Different out every.
Of the 20 7th and 8th graders, how many of those do you see potentially coming up to, moving up to, C squad? Or, so you see.
So from what I've seen summer wise, 3, possibly 4. If we would move up 3, that would only take away 17, and we'd still have a big number.
Yeah.
Even if it's 4, we'd still have 16 kids.
Right,
But that's just me blindly guessing, like, come the 10th, when we have to get all our registration and stuff, like, we might have 40 kids by time
well, what
season
worries me
actually
even with 17 athletes, it's hard to teach them, and that's the age where we need to be teaching them.
and that's
still.
another thing that I was gonna point out, Paige and I have discussed, you know, like expectations for the junior high, you know, like I love the program, you know,
Mhm.
love it so much, so we are trying to come up with, alright, by the time that they do come to ninth grade for sure, this is what they need to have learned. And having one coach with girls especially is a really difficult thing, you know, and it's like, we're gonna be building this program, we need to have those ground rules of this is what needs to be done, because we want to then focus our attention when they do come up to us for CB and varsity, that like, they already know those things, you know, we might have to do a refresher at the beginning, but we can just, you know, go into doing more complex things, I guess, to focus on that, so.
Over there is a bunch of-
I feel.
There's
The flies are over
just like
here before class.
Well, it's just like moving up in grade levels.
So, right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Have
it's just
prerequisite skills in order to
expectations.
go to the next
Yeah.
grade level.
We don't set them up for success in seventh and eighth grade. The A, B, and C squads don't have a chance of having
Right,
success.
exactly.
So, if we approve a second coach, my question is, in the future, what number would be the number, like, you say, oh, we go back to one coach? So we have expectations, like, also we get, drops down to 8.
Yeah, so I have a, like, while we're talking about policy, I have asked other districts for every sport what they do, what the magic number is, because it's different for every single
Correct.
sport. You know, this would be an example of, you can't have 20 kids on a line waiting to toss them a ball to hit a ball over the net, or
Nope.
set it, or it's gonna be chaotic very quickly. Where there are other sports where you are all practicing in one group, so it is more focused, even if you have the same number. So there are other schools that have a very clear guide, and I think we should get there as a guide. Just as a general reference tool, not as a hard fast rule, but some starting point of what is there. And I think we should, if we're gonna talk about making changes in policy, kind of think about that as a piece of it, but I would certainly want to connect with like every head coach on whether or not they feel like what other districts are doing are reasonable. Cause even within our conference that exists today, people aren't just guessing.
So like in
Well, and I
seventh,
also have to add, like, we also have to think about the kids' safety, you know, with seventh and eighth
Yeah.
grade, like, they're a lot more clumsier. So what if someone face plants it, well, now that coach
Yeah.
has to take care of that child and has to leave the gym woman who's there with the 20
Yeah.
other kids.
And another-
Also, it's like, you need to factor this in, cause it's a extracurricular, but you have some classes where they're just a little bit more difficult to keep
Yes,
attention,
Yes.
you know, so I think that could be a factor.
Yeah.
But if you ever had to adjust that number, you start with the guide, figure out what's reasonable, and then have conversations with our coaching staff to see if an exception could be made in those cases, you know, maybe it's right on the line. But I do think that is, just with the conversations of the last couple of years, something that we should really consider moving forward with, because it
Well,
seems
and I
to
don't
come
think
up
we have
often.
to recreate the wheel, and there's enough information out there.
Yeah.
Borrow and fit it to our needs.
Yeah, and if that's kind of the guide that others are following, why would we be any different?
Yeah.
So,
And I think also having two, you know, different minds, you know, like one, I come up with different ideas than Paige does, you know, it's just having, and bouncing that off when there's only one coach and you have all these girls on the bench, you know, too, like waiting to play, well then they're off talking, doing
Yeah.
their own thing, you know, it's just hard to, like in a classroom, you know, it's just difficult to, and teaching different techniques and all that kind of stuff is just more beneficial, you know, it's not having one person the same thing
Yeah.
over and over, you know, so I just think it's,
and just with her having the experience working in the school, like, there's times where I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? And she's like, oh, no,
mhm.
like, we can't handle that quite yet,
Yeah.
or, you know, whatever it may be.
So this is cause I have not had a volleyball player come up through yet. So it's kind of a dumb question. Do the 7th and 8th grade actually play as one team?
No.
It's 7th grade
seventh
game
grade,
and then
and
8th
then
grade
the
game.
seventh graders can play on the eighth grade team.
Okay,
So, or they can just be separate, you know, some will get placed onto that
Sure.
eighth grade team. So they do combine, they do practice together, but that's even like a big jump to have them all together, cause there's so many different skill levels, you know, of ones who go out and do all the extra stuff, and then ones that are like, first day of practice,
Yeah.
I'm here, you know, so
Yeah.
that's, but yes, they do play separate,
Okay,
so, yeah.
That wasn't dumb, I was gonna ask.
But
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, so that's another thing too, having one coach, you know, having to create, you know, teams or rosters and plans, you know, just for two separate teams is difficult too.
So-
Even just managing that young of kids at
Yeah.
an event.
And Matt just trying to teach you the rules and other
Right,
rotations and
exactly.
everything go through,
Yep.
so.
So currently you anticipate having A squad, B squad, C squad, and 7th and 8th grade.
Yes,
And there's you two, and there must be an assistant?
Rachel,
Yeah.
yeah, she's a B squad coach, yes.
Yeah.
But junior high does not play at the same events.
Right.
Yeah, they play in the auditorium, or the auxiliary gym.
And then, just for the record, you know, I heard there's a lot of stuff been going on behind the scenes. The board has done nothing. You know, if you heard that we've hired someone, laid someone off, we have done nothing, so.
Yeah, I
just
was
for the record,
interested to hear this
we've
whole
been asking
topic
questions,
come
wondering
back.
what's going on, but we have not done anything with it, so anything you've heard is
And
not
I will
true.
just say, just being hired new as a new head coach, it's been miserable.
Yeah.
Like I had brought this up back in February and I instantly was like, nope, it's not in the budget, school board won't approve. And I was like, can you bring it to the school board and ask? Nope, not an option. So like I've been fighting since February, got turned down, and then the junior high coach came forward and was like, if I don't get help, I'm not doing it. And then now we're dealing with all of this, and now we're a week and a half away from season starting, so yeah.
And I also know some of the situation Abby's been going
Yes,
through.
yeah.
And some of it was unbeknownst to me. I'll let you know that to non-renew coach, it's a process just like it is for non-renewing a teacher. It's almost the exact same process. So to let you guys know, somebody can't walk up to you and say you're fired. And somebody can't walk up to you and place you in a different level or a different role. It doesn't work that way. And I just wanna let you know that if you ever have concerns like this again, just come to me.
Yeah, I plan on CCing you on everything
Okay.
moving forward.
And if you have questions, anything, if I can't answer it, I'll find the answer, but I want you to feel comfortable doing that.
I just think there's a lot of different changes happening, you know, within the program, and, you know, I was wanting to spend more time with my boys, my mom and my husband. They just kind of get thrown to those two, so I did talk about volunteering if the position was gonna be filled by someone else. That was the only thing that was ever communicated, and I think things just got jumbled into a brand new idea, and it wasn't what was the plan, so,
Well, I'm really sorry that that ever happened, because you are truly appreciated and you are a key component in the program right now, and I'm glad that you're coming back. I mean, not doubting your abilities, but just to have some of the old blood with the new blood, I think will be critical. And I'm very sorry that that's been your experience so far, because it's unacceptable and that needs to get better. So put it on your little list there.
I've got a big little list.
Yeah.
well, I appreciate that,
Yes.
thank you very much, thank you. And I, obviously, you know, I just kinda went when I had discussions and stuff, you know, I thought it was a whole group, you know, discussion with everyone, so that's why I didn't bring stuff, you know, directly to you either, that was just, you know, that was my,
Just cause how we take it as like, the AD's our boss
Yeah.
technically.
Right, and
So
so I
like,
just
when we
kinda-
hear something from him, then we just assume like, oh, well, he must have got the okay from the superintendent and the school board.
yeah.
That's just blind leading the blind again, that's just how we're taking it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's just been miserable.
I think we're gonna need to just like take some of that offline to have a separate discussions on that. Please pass along to staff too, that we did not know that that was kinda happening, because
Yeah,
we
this
wouldn't
should
have put her in a position where she had to coach
Right.
25 kids by herself either. so.
She did a wonderful job last
Yes.
year
Yeah.
doing it and handled it very well. I know she asked me to step in at one game. She was like, I just need some extra help. I was like, I could not do that on my own, so she
Yeah.
did a great
Well,
job.
the basic principle of junior high sports is to
You just can't
build
have someone.
skills,
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
build a passion.
We just-
Yep.
I mean, when you're looking at a 6-man squad as opposed to 20, I mean, there's no way you can have 20 kids and teach them those skills and work with them and observe and correct, you know, and pull your setter off and work specifically with your setters or your libero. You can't do that with that many kids and one coach.
We wanna give it our full, if,
yeah,
you know, that's our goal is,
And that's a great way to lose kids, is not to have that opportunity.
Yeah.
well, and that, I want every kid, I want the ones that do all the extra work to have an opportunity, and I want the ones that have never ever been exposed to it to still get that same exact
that's what the
opportunity.
small town school
Yeah,
is all about,
exactly.
all the opportunities that they can have, so.
So
And-
To feel that welcome.
I've heard that we supposedly hired somebody, but we have to post it.
Yep.
We have to post it no matter what, so we just can't say so-and-so's hired.
Yes,
You have to post it.
Yeah, we'll work through that.
And so we, yeah, we'll get that fast, it's when you heard we hired someone. It's not
Yep.
posted, can't get, you know,
Yep.
we have our own path that we have to run.
Yep, absolutely.
and I will say it does take a village to be a successful program. We can't rely on one girl to make, I mean, I will say like we're very far behind compared to other schools at the skill level for our kids.
Yeah,
Like, granted, I went and played college volleyball and the first week of practice is miserable because you go back to the fundamentals and it's like, I'm already at college level, like why do I have to act like I'm back in junior high? But that's just what you do, no matter
Mhm.
your junior high, your CBA or your college level, like
We had
they
the
bring
same
it back.
college coach,
Yeah.
so we got the same stuff.
So when they're not getting that in 7th and 8th grade, well now we're taking almost the whole season to go over skills and then we're not able to be successful and build.
well, I sure appreciate you two coming in.
Yeah,
I think we got,
Thanks.
If we're coming to catch us, because we're playing catch up as a board, I think
Yeah.
we're just.
Yeah. Alright, well, thank you very much.
thank you.
Will we know an answer soon? Okay.
Since we're at a special meeting, you can ask for a motion and move forward tonight. If the board approves, I'll make sure this gets posted tomorrow.
I'd so move to put a second JV coach, volleyball coach on junior high. Volleyball.
Troy makes the motion for additional junior high volleyball coach. I heard a second from Nate. Is there any other questions or discussions to clarify everything, or are we all caught up, or? Hearing none, all in favor to go ahead and go out to hire a additional junior high volleyball coach, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, we'll go out and post for an additional junior high volleyball coach, so the process is done correctly, and
Thank you, guys.
get on top
Thank you
of
very
this.
much so
you.
much.
Thank you for coming in and
Yes.
clarifying everything,
Yep,
and
no problem.
Yes,
Thank
no
you.
being
problem.
patient with us is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll move on to our new business and with our policy 714 of fund balance, and that was included in the agenda email, or?
Yes, and I know this is something that Troy had mentioned, wanted to look at what our objective is for an ending fund balance. If you look at the current 714 policy, I'll just go to section 5, minimum fund balance. The school district will strive to maintain a minimum unassigned general fund balance at 12% of the annual budget. I know that Troy had concerns, I think some of you guys had concerns that may be too low of a number.
In the finance training, I don't know if any of you guys have taken that or participated in it, but there's some advanced MSBA finance training. 12 to 15 was considered healthy or average. Yeah, kind of a standard. Yeah, we took that training together, I think. So that's probably why it was in their canned kind of policy as 12%.
Be nice to get that a little bit higher,
Mm-hmm.
and then, I don't know, we could put it in there, because we have open ed. With open ed coming forward, having a 12 or 15, let's say we are at 12 right now, let's say we go to 15 or 20. We got some, that's not guaranteed income. So it'd be
Correct.
nice to strive while we're bringing open ed dollars in at 25-30% as a goal to get in there, because those funds can just be straight pulled from us instantly at any one moment. But then we, I don't know if we could phrase it that way where we don't have open ed dollars coming in, getting back to that 15 to 20%.
I think we can always revisit the policy anytime the board would like to. I mean, for instance, if the board was to vote tonight to increase this to 20 or 25%, whatever you decide, the policy can always be
We
changed
just change
by the
it,
school board.
so we should revisit it every year.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, every
But,
policy should be revisited every year,
I like.
most of them.
I just feel like 2 months worth is
Mhm.
about 17%. I don't know if
Good with
that's
whatever the board
the right
decides.
number, but
Because I think going into strategic planning now, that's a good time to look at this. It says strive to maintain. We have to strive to get there first.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. This is all.
It doesn't mean we're gonna get there
Mhm.
overnight,
no.
but I would like to see 20%, because the state, that's the state goes and does what they did years back, where they didn't give us our funding. And then we're not borrowing money, cause once you get it there, you just gotta maintain it, you're not like you're throwing that much in every year. It would be nice to have a good reserve
Yep.
to handle all those hardship times.
Like
COVID hit,
an emergency cushion.
yeah,
I don't mind an emergency cushion, but I also think this is not magical funds growing on trees, this is taxpayer dollars. And those taxpayers are paying that money for a purpose, not to stockpile in accounts. So if it's between stockpiling money or giving our staff an extra 0.5% in a negotiation period, I would fight the opposite way.
well, I'm looking.
Knowing that we still have reserves in place, a healthy
Correct.
amount of reserves in place.
And it's gonna take a while to get here. It's gonna take a while, so it's not like, well, we can't spend until we gotta go here before we can spend, but as a goal, and it's gonna take multiple years
Yeah,
to get to 20%. But have that as goals, so we just, each year, we just keep getting a little bit to where we need to be. And with open ed, I'd rather be a little more cautious because of the fact that if we bring proceeds in that could be
guaranteed forever.
guaranteed,
Mhm.
that you could be at 20% with open ed, and that open ed goes away, and we're down to 6%,
Yeah.
balance instantly. So that's the reason I would try to have a little larger number, because we have non-traditional funds coming.
I think that's based on the revenue at the time coming in, so.
Yeah.
To your point, if we're starving for revenue, you wouldn't wanna be striving for that high, just
Well,
for the
and
fact of.
it's not saying that you're locked in, we would
No.
have to strive, so if we have to make choices and go below,
Yeah, we're not locked in,
we're
but
not
it's
locked in, I
a
mean,
vision to say, well,
a goal.
we have, that's our goal. We may not get there for a while,
Mhm.
but if we can get there and still take care of all our needs, just so we don't all of a sudden invest in something that we really didn't need, that we had to have, and all of a sudden we get striped of open ed.
Mhm.
Cause that's you're getting those additional different funds, you really don't wanna be at risk of all of a sudden something disappears and now you're
Yeah.
behind.
Hey, yeah.
Or you do a big project and then you go broke.
Yeah. Then they're done now, we're not doing that again. So anyway, it's so,
Hopefully
it's
that
so,
doesn't have to happen.
No.
ever again.
Yeah.
it's so debatable how we wanna do that, but it does give new board members an opportunity to see what our goals are, so when new people get on, they can say, oh, that's what our goals are, cause like, well, Jake, when you got on, no, I knew we didn't have money, but where do you have any idea what kind of fund balance, you can say, here's your fund balance, that's what our goals are. Doesn't mean we're gonna hit them, but it's what we're striving for.
So if you don't want 12, you just gotta pick a number. Go with it, then.
Well, I think, like Brian said, and if you include that context of 2 months of operating dollars, if that's 17% and you include that explanation of it, I think that's good. And that can be, yes, it can always be changed, and that, that allows maybe, for that to fluctuate a little bit,
Yeah, every month's not the same.
Right, so I think that piece would be good to include.
And we go to 17 and then down the road, we see that because of our dollars are coming, we wanna go higher. This it should be revisited every year, so we all
Yeah.
have the same vision.
Yeah,
So too.
Motion for that?
to change it to
Yeah, I'll make a
17.
motion to move it to 17%.
Troy makes a motion to move our fund balance, what was it, the minimum unassigned general fund balance, 17% from 12.
I'll second it.
We have a second from Brian. Do you have any other concerns or questions regarding striving for the minimum fund
Just-
balance?
You know, assuming the open ed goes through, works out, do you need to state in there that those funds are not included,
Nope, they'd be part of the
Yep.
general fund.
or would they?
They'd be part of it, yes.
They would, okay.
Yeah, and I wouldn't include those. I mean, if they're probably how, we did right sizing this year. I'm sure there may come a time where we have to do that again as well. I think maintaining 17% regardless of what type of revenue we have coming in.
Okay.
Will give us the reflection to right size whatever situation we're in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the safest way to do it, I think, too.
Sure, okay.
Any other input? Nope. Hearing none, all in favor for adjust our minimum unassigned general fund balance to 17%, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Move our minimum unassigned general fund balance to 17%, I guess, to strive for, would be our goal, so. And we're moving on to our student activities fee that,
If I could get input before the board discusses, so Stacy gave me the amount of revenue that's been generated, back when we did have it. And then if you'll look, the current recommended is what's down there, and that's what we're gonna pass as well. Just my input, my recommendation to the board is continue with not charging student activity fees, because I feel for Red Rock Central, that's something that would attract students here. That's something that will attract the students that are already in our system, that maybe shy away from trying to participate because they don't have the money. It's not a financial deal breaker for us. And it's an opportunity for our kids to play and join and participate. We talked about that meeting in the middle on things when we have people over here and people over there. It's a good opportunity to just tell our kids, we appreciate you and we want you to be involved to whatever extent you can, and we're gonna make that as easy as possible. But I'll close my mouth from there and you guys can discuss.
I agree with that.
Yep,
Yeah.
100%.
Waive it.
If it's not a financial burden where we can't make it work, then absolutely, I think
It's
we
not
just
a-
continue to.
It's not a
put it
make or break.
no,
I think you're gonna, I mean, there could be some families that might not do it because of it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, just how times are now. And to start the school year where they gotta fork over, if they got a bigger family and all of a sudden they're like, nope, so. Waive it and be done.
You get 3 more kids that play basketball, it makes a team almost.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
considering our numbers now, we
Yep.
need everybody we have
100%.
playing plus more.
Well, and if you were to do activity fees, I'd be in the camp of you'd have to, if they call for free and reduced, they get free athletic fees, but then that's all that extra paperwork, so. Yeah, I don't wanna discourage any kid from not playing.
Make a motion, just keep it the same.
Second.
Nate makes a motion to keep it the same, and we have a second from Megan. Any other comments or questions? That was a quick, easy one. All in favor to keep our activity fees the same and waiving them? Is that the right way to word it? Say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll keep them the same as waiving, so.
I am a little curious on 25 and 26 why we got any income. We must have required a form be filled out
Form had to be filled out.
even for last year and the year prior when.
Yep.
So I mean,
My guess is they didn't fill out the form, so they chose to pay rather than fill out the
so what we just voted on right now was for that same process, correct?
Yes, same process.
If they do not fill out the form, they will pay the fee.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
Wait, do they have to fill a form out to still get this?
the free reduced lunch, but here's another thing, here's another caveat. When we look at free and reduced lunch.
Yep.
That comes in the compensatory aid. We've been held harmless and we're going to be held harmless again, which means we're gonna be at the same percentage we have been since this started. And we also have direct certification now, which means there's certain criteria we directly certify kids without them having to fill out the form.
Mm-hmm.
So I think either way, have them fill out the form, don't have them fill out the form, because it's such a low amount of revenue, and because we're going to get the same percentage of aid that we would have gotten, whether they did it or not, whether they fill out the form or not. I also I've been trying to work with Randy and Old Shift now, when we do our online registration, filling out a form is part of that process, so everybody will fill that form out. Now, a lot of people don't fill it out completely because they don't wanna divulge income.
I would just put $1 million in there.
Yeah, we're pretty high.
At least you're honest.
Low ballers.
But, I mean, whether they fill out the form or not, we're gonna get the same amount of money.
But then would that, in the system, would that hold them needing to pay the activity fees if they don't?
The way it's stated now, yes.
Okay.
So do you wanna keep it that way? You're probably better off if they
It's
don't
over
fill it out.
$100.
Is that,
I mean,
but there'd be people that don't wanna fill it out, or else I can tell them it was on the form anyway. There's some private information they don't want. You know.
Yeah.
So do we gotta force everyone to fill it, or if we just highly recommend to do it?
is the state wanting those forms even filled out?
They want us to continue to try,
Okay,
and that's because of their census.
That's right.
So they don't base their compensatory and our title funding on just that. It's a census of the community, of our district community as well. I think there's a better way we can get people to complete the form. And like I said, we did that in our last district, made all registration online. That form is part of it. You can't move to the next part of registration without completing the form. They may not have completed it completely because they didn't want to put their income on there or something, but they had to go through steps on that form before they move into the next.
I think years ago, that form was viewed as, oh, the district just wants to know how much money I make. And it's, at this point, it's not that. And it wasn't, and it's not that. So how do you package it so people forget about that and just do it? It takes another 2 minutes.
I think you go out to the public and say it's confidential.
Right.
Number one.
So it's interesting. I have, throughout the years, I've worked in title schools almost my whole career. Some very, like one was 97% free reduced lunch as the principal. I've tried pretty much everything under the sun to get them to fill out the form. And especially by explaining this is why we get federal dollars to support our students who need that extra help. And it didn't make a difference. I mean, it's interesting.
So does it
People don't want
hurt us-
people knowing what they make.
I know.
It's
Does-
that simple. And the need is not there. So before, when we were paying for school lunches, if you had any hope that you were gonna get your lunches offsite, you were filling out that form. But if you were a family that you knew wasn't gonna qualify anyway, why am I gonna hand over my annual income to anybody outside of my household?
Do the upper incomes hurt the district at all, or?
No, I mean, we have steady free and reduced lunch numbers. We get pretty good title funding and compensatory funding. I mean, we get pretty good funding to support our interventions. So and they don't, with that census, they don't focus on that too. They look at the disparity. We call it disadvantaged homes, disadvantaged households. So they look at that and take all that into consideration. And in any small community, you have people that fall into that category and people that don't. It just.
The other thing is, it just seems wasteful for me to take the time to fill out that form, put my income in there, only to have our secretary have to spend her time sending me a letter saying you don't qualify. You know what I mean? Like, we've filled that form out for years, and it just seems like a moot exercise.
I've never
kind
filled
of.
them out for my kids. We didn't qualify. I wasn't gonna waste the time.
Yeah.
I always hear, well, you never know. Well, I do know, because I know the criteria for qualifying.
I don't wanna pay the fee, you see.
Yeah. get it.
Are they gonna force that part then?
I think that would be a board decision. I think if you decide not to enforce that, you should make a motion. And then we'll take that off the table completely, but I think the board really needs to make that decision.
Makes no difference to me, I guess.
You said we,
If it's gonna be a required part of the registration process anyway, then everybody should be filling it out.
I need to work on the registration process, the way we're doing it. To me, I think there's a better way.
Mm-hmm.
What's your recommendation on that form?
Well, I would say, I wouldn't. Number one, it's not generating any more income. It's not generating any more revenue there. We're being held harmless, and we have direct certification now, which the state's talked about moving over to 100% direct certification, which means we'll certify those families ourselves. We certify a large proportion of them ourselves now without them filling out paperwork. So,
Could we just state it, that ask everyone to fill it out, and if they get you guys to fill it out, we'll continue doing, have the AD director say that free athletic fees? As long as you guys keep doing this, the board will continue doing it, but if we don't get you guys filling this out, we're gonna have to go to a different plan. Just try to do it voluntarily.
We gotta make a decision tonight on this because the athletic meeting's happening on Monday, so wanna make sure that that's communicated clearly.
Can we just waive the fees whether they fill a form out or not?
that's
I
what
mean, that's what I say.
That's what I say
That's what
too.
we,
I mean, if it's gonna be part of the school registration, not the sports registration, and they're gonna fill it out anyway, or be required to touch it, even if it's not completely filled out, then the incentive is completely gone, so.
It's extra work for the office too. And then maybe-
And it's something you can reevaluate every year.
Yeah.
It's actually the way I meant
So-
this to be
Okay.
anyway.
Is that neat?
yes,
It's really the way I meant this to be anyway. I didn't.
Yeah, I thought so too, right,
I
yeah.
didn't even want anything to do with that form. I didn't think that was
Okay,
even,
I thought that
was
too.
just gone.
I think that's where,
We're gonna make.
That's what I meant. I meant just waiving the fees,
I think
Period across board.
Yes.
on clarification here with the last vote
but whichever.
to
If you
say,
if you got a motion to take it away and redo it, it
We're
is
just
what
making
it
a
is.
motion that we don't have to fill the form
I
out.
would do a motion to not require this form.
I'll make a motion to not require the form.
Megan makes a motion not to require the form, would we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jake. We all clear that not requiring the form would be basically waiving the fees?
But it will be part of the
Yeah, it's part of registration.
registration process, yes.
So. But all in favor for waiving the form, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And Doreen will make sure that's
Cleaned up.
cleaned up for our oversight here.
That extra couple hours at home.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, then we'll move on to our admission prices. Listed here.
Yep, these are just recommended by the Red Rock Conference, and this is what the other school districts are going to as far as entrance fees for admission to activities.
I'll make a motion to change to $8 for adults, $6 for students.
I'll second it.
So $8 for adults and $6 for students.
Mhm.
Any other questions regarding?
I guess clarify too, those aren't our students.
Correct.
Yeah, those are visitors.
Visitors.
Oh, and visitor students, yep, okay, thanks for the clarification. But all in favor to go with the change, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Do we have our students, do they get them free?
It's just
For bringing
boost
home games.
participation for being at events.
And we'll move on to our, approve the .5 school counselor contract with the co-op.
So to inform you and bring some perspective, Ms. Carnet's resigned. I did post it on the state job board. I contacted a couple people I thought may be interested, and they weren't. We have no applicants. So I approached the co-op to put a message out to our regional schools to see if anybody wants to share time. The only one I got back was the Southwest Central Co-op, and they do have one person that needs .5. At 68,000, I do feel, and we had talked about before reducing counselor time, that maybe we didn't need 1.0 FTE counselor. I think at this point in time, with school starting here pretty quick, we need to move in a direction, so we do have a guidance counselor. This person is, got many years of experience, also experience in the therapeutic aspect, the mental health aspect, and then in the guidance portion of it. The 68,000, financially, it's gonna save us money over what we've paid in the past. And this will give us the year to see how that relationship goes and see what the productivity is of that, and then if we feel we need more, we can post again this spring.
So will that person come into our building or would they be
We'll
online?
be in our building
Okay.
for halftime,
The other thing with the 68,000 is there's no benefits that we can throw on top of that.
Nothing.
So it's not like hiring someone and paying
Mm-hmm.
everything else.
Yeah, so like back 30 grand off of there for benefits, say.
Well, then we don't also, we have to, as a contract, so there's not even a FICA or anything on that, right?
Nope, our contract, it'll be, so we approved the contract with Southwest West Central already earlier. This will be just in addition to that, so
Yep.
they said they have that prepared, but I told them I wanted the board to make a decision first. Obviously, so basically, we're just paying 68,000, we're not paying
You
anything.
start adding all the other things that we have to pay for an employee, that's still a lot of money, but we're not 68 plus A, B, C, and D on top of it.
It's a lot of money.
That's
We
sort
gotta
of,
have a counselor though.
You gotta have one.
I mean, we really actually do. Even just if they
Yes.
focus their halftime on the guidance portion. Cause we have mental health support
5 days.
5 days a week here.
I will say we not only need one, but by statute, we need one too.
Yeah. So what you're saying is we don't have a choice.
That's what I'm feeling now, I mean, because of the timing, school counselors, unless somebody wants to move into that, like, sometimes you'll find a mental health worker or a, social worker that will wanna move into that field. But it's hard to find anybody. Like, when I reached out to all the superintendents that fall within our co-op, nobody responded,
Mm.
about sharing time. And we probably have some others that are in that similar situation.
Halftime's enough, do you think?
I'm hoping. It depends on the credibility of the person filling that position.
Right.
I mean, if we get 2 months in, and can we reevaluate?
This will be for an annual, so this will be for the school year, but once we get into it, I'll support however I can. And then,
But after a year, we could still
You're right.
Yes.
go
Right.
out for,
if we feel
If we want it.
mid-year that this is not working, we need more time, we'll just start posting and hopefully we can catch somebody.
So can we shift around some of the tasks, like if you took the backpack food program and put that on somebody else and the testing coordinator, if there was anybody else that was interested in that component?
Yeah, so the testing coordinator, we did put that out as separate, because, if you don't remember, that got included now in the
Right.
CFD. So that will be sent out to staff, I did have some people inquire about it, and nobody jumped on it yet.
Okay,
Your superintendent might wind up being the one to do it, but that's just what happens. I've done it for many years in the past.
then, but are they in the building like a consistent schedule or certain
Yep,
days
we'll
that
have
they're
a consistent schedule, I'll determine after talking with the person what that person, with their experience, what they feel works best, is it 5 half days? How, and then we'll
I
have
like
to
5
see.
half days.
I do too, I like the half days, and then we'll have to see what other district they're working with.
It sounds like that would be for surely a possibility of the 5 half days or
I wouldn't know until I talk to
Okay.
them, that's what I'm going to ask
preferred,
for.
okay.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is that we, not just cause it's required, but I think it's for the health of the students that we make sure we,
We want the consistency of someone.
and the counselor there for them.
Well, you gotta have somebody in the senior high level when kids are trying to go to college and plan things and write scholarships and,
Well, helping with scheduling, putting kids in classes,
yeah,
that's all part of the guidance aspect, sending transcripts, connecting with colleges, doing a transcript audit to make sure they have their credit audit, to make sure they have all their credits. Starting with 9th grade and tracking that, there's a lot,
So this guy is halftime somewhere else though.
yes.
She.
Or she, yeah.
Do you wanna have that conversation before we approve it? Cause I'm not into somebody coming here a day and a half a week and calling it halftime.
Right.
I mean, if
I would,
But we legally have to have somebody too.
Yeah.
Kind of correct.
I wouldn't do that anyways.
I know, but you know what I'm,
2.5 days though, why not? Just-
yeah, well, even two, like that's, so then what, we get the 2 worst days?
It's what I would ask for, is we need 5 half days, so we'd have to coordinate with whoever this person is working with.
I know, that, I'm just thinking logistically, what if this person is 60 miles away from here with the other school?
Right.
How would you make that work?
They'd have to make it work. But our situation is, start school in a month.
Yeah.
We have 0 applicants for counselor. That's what worries me the most.
Yeah,
So it better be taken care of today, or it can go to the regular, that's too late.
Yeah, I think it's too late.
Then I'll make the motion to go ahead and approve the hire.
Nate makes a motion to approve the hire.
I do wanna apologize that we're rushing this, and I don't mean to rush it. I just think we're really under the wire here with this one.
We need to,
And this is
my
the
daughter and I
only
can't
option
rush
that
it.
came out.
I mean, we know this, have you gotten any information on the candidate? Is this person qualified?
Yes, they're highly qualified. I think they said 17 years as school counselor.
Okay,
Is trained in the mental health aspect. I asked, well, I'm really concerned about is the guidance, so like, that's second hat to them.
okay. Okay,
And it's not person the co-op's finding for us, it's the person that works for the co-op.
They're ready.
oh, sure,
Just like our special ed director, we contract with the co-op to get our special ed director, somebody that works for the co-op that now works with us. So that's a similar situation.
okay.
Yeah, Nate made a motion, would we have a second?
second,
Second by Troy. Is there any other questions or concerns regarding the 0.5 school counselor? Hearing none, all in favor to approve the 0.5 school counselor contract with the co-op, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries, go ahead and approve the 0.5 school counselor contract, so.
I'm sure you're already all over it too, Tim, but we really need to figure out what Rachel's tasks were so that we know that we have everything covered. Cause I would not want things like the weekend backpack program not to continue to happen somehow, so.
I also have some ideas about that, partnering with an organization that makes it, like, we partner with United Way and we did it every week. And it was fantastic.
Yeah,
Good
We
point.
got students involved in helping pack
yeah,
things.
good idea.
So we make sure to communicate what our.
Good job for some of our student groups, like Superintendent's Advisory Cabinet.
Just want people not to lose access even
No.
for a minute, so.
If they're used to something, you don't wanna take that away.
Yep.
Alright, otherwise, then we'll move on to our plan a school board retreat, and we've been talking. Tim could probably explain it better than I can.
Yeah, I think it's a good time so I wanted to plan a school board retreat for August, where we can get together and maybe go to Legion and use the room or something, have dinner together and just do some visioning on our own. What do we want the beginning of the school year to look like? Oh man, if you guys want my brain to explode on you with all ideas I have, this is a good time to do that, cause I do have a vision of some places we could take our district to make it one, renowned, more successful, bring everybody together to support that, but this obviously is not the best, environment to do that, or not the best type of meeting to hold that in. So I think school board retreats are really perfect to sit down, it's bonding time, talk about overall, what are our goals, what are our thoughts, what do we want this to look like, what do we want this to look like, the brick and mortar, but also what do we wanna look at education look like for Red Rock Central students. So I think at least an annual, and then after that, I wanna start planning those September community forums. And a lot of that will spin off of this.
Yeah, cause then we'd have already discussed it here, what we think our goals are. Like you said, it'll be important once the strategic plan is done too, that that'll
Some
really help
things we can
us.
do in that, the school board retreat, I think we need to look at a self-evaluation board, self-eval. The board is supposed to by statute self-eval every year. The MSBA has a great forum for that as well. We talked about superintendent evaluation at the school board retreat. I can update you on some projections for enrollment, projections for finance, just a lot of conglomerate. Do some team building too, so I just gonna throw that out there. I'm gonna leave that a secret what that will look like for the board. Team
Trust
building-
falls or
Team building is important, and here's a reason why. You'll see your leaders float to the top, your followers kind of float to the bottom, and then you see those change. It's just really interesting. I won't be part of the team building, you guys will do the team building, but I'll set up what the activity is, cause it gives me an opportunity to sit back and watch, and it's kinda interesting, and I'd like to see what happens, but
So what are you thinking, a full day,
no, just an evening, couple
an
hours
evening,
yeah.
okay. I
So
think we
that,
all
if
have
you'll
a
look,
lot-
I didn't put any succeeding meeting dates on here because of this. Cause I think we need to look at strategic, or excuse me, we need to look at school board retreat first, and then like the next meeting will be a school board retreat. So I think we need to hammer that in August sometime.
I think we all have a list of a lot of ideas that have been brewing. But if we're gonna spend the time, then let's figure out ways to do the ideas and just stop talking about stuff.
I don't know if 2 hours is gonna be enough.
Yeah, I have a list here that's about
Half an hour.
3.5 hours
You
long.
ain't gonna talk for 2 hours by yourself.
I think if you plan it for 2 hours, then it takes you wherever you wanna go,
Mhm.
you know?
So are you saying whatever you wanna talk about, you have to make a, what's that called, when you are ready to put it on the screen?
A toast.
No, a
Right,
presentation.
A slide
Oh, I
deck.
was way off.
Yeah, we were thinking social.
I can put together a
That's a
slide
presentation.
deck
to me.
real easy. Austin did one the other night on why he should have a dog. A PowerPoint presentation.
There you
Come
go,
back with one.
PowerPoint.
Did you come back with the one, why he's not getting one? Yeah.
What dates you got in mind? What
What
dates you got in
dates?
mind?
So I'm looking at, we could do 17th, 18th, 19th, 24th, 25th of August. And after, yeah,
Fourth,
after that, I mean, it's gonna be really busy.
week of the 17th is really messed up for me.
19th does not work for me.
24th work for everyone?
You don't make it work if it's 24th would.
It's Monday after I'm in Austin, so.
We won't hit no volleyball yet, Monday.
So I can set that up, I'll go
I'll
with
probably
this.
be extra emotional.
Do we have a?
What
do you
time?
have
No
a-
idea.
You wanna pay with a location
Yep, I will work on that.
in your garage?
What time?
I say we start at 5 or 6, probably 5 if we think we're gonna go for a while, probably 5 o'clock. Does that work, does 5 o'clock work for everybody for you?
Mhm.
Yeah, we're used to, I think that'd be.
24th then?
24th, 5 o'clock, and then I'll update everybody with location, I'll work on that.
Just won't be here, right?
Correct, I just think, I've done school board retreats in the building, and then I've done them off campus. They're open to the public, it has to be posted, and that's fine. It just seems like a little more relaxed atmosphere, it's better conversation.
That'll be good, it'll open up our mind, I guess, more naturally, or just. We won't feel like we're trying to be so official, I think. That's the right way to.
It's a vision, I call it a vision, it's
Depending
like,
on the team building game.
Oh, that's true, we got
we won't be playing beer pong.
no beer
Oh,
pong.
it's gonna
or quarters.
say Lip cup, quarters, or what?
Officially, we won't.
Official, okay. So then we'll keep us updated on the
Yes.
board retreat, and now you've got an update for us on the business management service?
So I informed the board that our current business manager through the co-op resigned, so I'm in the search for another one. She's only been with us for a year. I know that when she came in, she needed training, so we didn't really get the full support we needed for a few months. That's when we hired Jordan. So there's a company out of the cities called Cesso, and what they are is a school management company. They help with whatever you need them help with. So I met with them, last week, I can't remember the exact date. And they're going to get a quote for what, I told them basically what we wanted was what we got from Jordan. I wanted, maybe a little less. I wanted them to be able to go into our system and clean up,
Mhm.
which is part of what the audit does, but they can go in there and just make sure things are coded, and Jordan did that initially, he came in and just went through an entire budget, and we recoded a lot of things. And a lot of the revenue streams where they come from, and then, I want them to create that monthly board, report, because I think it's a good visual. I can go into Smart and I can look at reports, but I don't know what all reports are the best to look at, I don't know how to, decipher all of them, but they do. So they're gonna give me a quote and we'll see where we go from there. We don't need full business management services, but just that support. Cause right now, you would not want your superintendent going in and manipulating the budget in the system.
Correct.
You need that segregation of duties. I need somebody that can do that, and I need to be able to say, hey, what are we looking like in this fund? You know, we have this expense coming up, where should we pull that from, what looks best, and that's what we need. So, I'll have that quote hopefully, and I'll email her this week. Asked her if I could have it by sometime this week, so I'll email her, if anything, on Friday, and ask her where she is in the process, and hopefully have something for the board on August 19th.
So when is Jordan officially done?
He's done.
He is done.
He had a 1-year contract that ended June 30th.
Oh, shit.
And I've been in communication with him, he's been helping me a little bit here and there, and he said he feels bad about the situation.
Yeah.
But he's the business manager of their cooperative, and he's also gonna cover for 2 maternity leaves this year as their business manager in the school districts. And they're bringing another school district into their cooperative, so he said if he's gonna do something, he wants to make sure he can do it right, and he doesn't feel he'd be able to do it as adequately as we need.
And we can go month to month with Susso.
I asked him for both.
Yeah. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, so you think we'll have all that info at the next meeting then, or?
That's my goal, yeah.
That would be good.
It'd be really nice to know too, maybe in your superintendent cohorts, like what other schools do for that component. Maybe we can split with somebody more local.
Would be nice if it
Or
was
does
like-
everybody just go through the co-op?
Most of them go through the co-op.
Well, we have not had luck.
No, and I think it's the turnover, and I've talked to Westbrook, Walnut Grove, they're very happy with the support they get.
Sure.
I think the turnover and how that's affected us is what's done it.
It's a stark difference too when you have a healthy fund budget. When you're in a financial crisis, you have to have access to accurate information at the click of a button, not,
If we would've had that about
yeah,
5-6 years ago, probably would've been not in
Yeah.
this position
right,
and have that separation,
uh-huh,
like you were just talking about.
Yeah.
That's something you're always finding the audit segregation of duties. Even though I won't touch the budget, you're gonna see that as a red flag for us, it's gonna be flagged because we don't have a big organization.
Yeah.
We don't have an entire department that handles finance. You got me, Stacy, and whatever support we get from the co-op.
I think that's a good thing that we have this separate, like you said, I think there's a need for the management service, but hopefully find the best choice for the economic choice, I guess, I would not base it just solely on the cheapest, but on what's most practical for what our needs too, so. But that's the only one you kind of found that's really,
That's all there is. There was
There is.
another one, but they merged. So,
all the two of them merged.
yeah, they merged.
There's gotta be private
right.
people out there like Jordan.
Well, Jordan only does it because he's a business manager. I mean, I think the biggest problem is finding somebody who is a certified business manager for school finance.
Uh-huh.
Jordan created his company, I think specifically for us, because his board told them they would not take us in for services, but if you wanna do it on his own time, you could. So. And it's just his years of experience that made him available and made it easier for him to do it.
Sure.
So after this year, it could be a possibility you could come back on board a year from now.
Maybe, I don't know, I think his concern is not doing the job, it's doing it right. So it's a
Well, we-
possibility.
Steps covering those, for those other people, maybe free some time up.
Yeah,
We can,
Thank
I
you.
definitely and he knows I'm gonna contact him throughout the year. He's already said anytime I have a question. Matter of fact, we're trying to schedule a time to meet now, just so he could look at some things for me. More in the situation we're in.
Based on that, then we'll see where we're at with, go with this.
Cecil.
Sasso. Like you said, after you get a year into it, you get to know each other and then it's established in a way, so then it's hard to go back to.
Well, and it'll give the co-op time to sort out their
So,
staffing issue.
if anybody wants to look out the window now to see what's going on the trail.
Yeah,
It's one-way street.
It ain't my kid.
This time, I don't know what that's all about.
they're
You just
picking-
gotta get
they're
over
picking
it.
stuff up behind the dugout, so it's not in the way of
Exactly.
during football season.
Not the second vehicle though.
Stuff that, yeah.
Look away.
I just have a hard time. I put a lot of work into that this summer.
Oh my god, no you didn't. It looks like crap out there.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
It looks
Let's go for a ride after this.
I can't do it. I don't wanna ride on the trail. Didn't you read the signs?
Then let's go. Next topic, moving right along.
Well, then I guess any other questions regarding the business manager service? Alright, hearing none, otherwise we can. Number 5, we have listed for a closed session in accordance with Minnesota statute 13D.03, 13D.05, subdivision 3, for the purpose of labor negotiation. So do we have a motion to move to closed session?
I'll make the motion.
Megan, we have a second?
I'll second it.
Megan, Troy second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried, we'll move into closed session, I have
Do the rest of the work.
6:58, so. Thanks, Doreen.
Thanks.
It's just over.